Hello, everybody. Thank you so very much for clicking on Thursday, 18 January 2024. And we're going to get things going here. Going to try to keep this as concise as possible, as want to make sure everybody's time is used to the utmost. And a reminder, Chris will be with us tomorrow night at 9 p.m. We'll be doing the Smart People Show. And if you'd like to join, email me, americandufus@gmail.com. And we will have you on the panel tomorrow night. We'll be discussing various things. That's looking ahead. Looking back to last night's episode, it was entitled Their Oath. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. Secret Covenant, not a secret anymore. Truth has been exposed. This is about the Luciferians, and basically the focus of last night's episode was indeed that movement, and we will continue to look at that movement as we move along. Speaking of which, in the 1960s, one of the primary modes of communication was still AM radio, and on many AM radio stations around the United States in the 1960s, you would hear Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. Well, actually in April the 3rd, actually, in 1965, there was this particular broadcast from Paul Harvey.
If I were the devil, if I were the Prince of Darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and fourth its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I seize the ripest apple on the So it's however necessary to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. The wisdom of the serpent I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve. Do as you please. To the young I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I convinced them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors and...
Keep in mind, this is in 1965. And a lot of people put a lot of faith in Washington. Maybe more faith in Washington than in God. So perhaps Paul Harvey was right about that. Let's see what else he has to say.
How to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves.
This is, again, April 3rd, 1965. And he's saying if he were the devil, he'd have families at war with themselves. Check. Churches at war with themselves. Check. And civil wars. I believe there are like 41 civil wars currently going on all around the world, and one potentially starting here in America. So let's say check.
Until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions, just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade...
Again, it's 1965. Metal detectors, drug-sniffing dogs in the schools. And again, check.
I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I'd evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress.
Okay, on that, I don't think we necessarily need a. I believe firmly we need a separation of church and state, because what religion is going to be the national religion? And it may be a religion you don't necessarily like. Just something to think about. I'm not saying eliminate God in any way, shape, or form from you or your life. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying maybe it's best to keep religion out of government, because religion is so diverse that be careful what you wish for. You may get it.
And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science.
And indeed, that is happening in a lot of churches.
I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money.
And indeed, that is happening in way, way, way too many churches. Unfortunately, Paul Harvey was correct yet again. Check. Again, April 3rd. 1965.
If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who want it until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. What'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich.
Almost every state now has a lottery. Again, Mr. Harvey, check.
I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure.
We're going to be talking about diseases for which there is no cure coming up in just a few minutes.
In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
Very interesting in that we've been discussing this the last couple of days, and from that particular recording of Mr. Harvey, let's go to this. We're not going to play the music just in case it is copywritten, but just take a look. Again, this comes from the X-Files. Come on. I didn't want to do that. My apologies. Hit the wrong button. Wait a minute. All right, we're going to do this again. My apologies. Let me shrink it down just a little bit so we can get a full view here, and I'll run this one more time, just so you can see one of the places where they worship Lucifer. And that was from the X-Files, courtesy of TikTok. So that's kind of what we talked about last night. Obviously, we're going to have more on that coming up, and also coming up, we're going to be talking about anomalies in the weather. We're going to be talking about the possibility of electromagnetic currents causing these various shapes. Basing that upon seeing various shapes of sand or salt form over music when the currents and the frequencies are produced. And these sites, these holes, I actually saw one of these on radar the other day when it was snowing here. I did not get it clipped. I wish I would have, because it is indeed an anomaly. We're going to be discussing that coming up. How much of an anomaly is it? The idea that the state of New Hampshire has put legislation forward prohibiting the intentional release of cloud seeding, weather modification, excessive electromagnetic radio frequency, and microwave radiation. You wouldn't need legislation to ban something that wasn't happening. Just something to think about when you see the chemtrails in the sky, and when you know they are all over the country. You've got to start assuming that there aren't pilots piloting many of those. Many of those are probably drones, because there's a pilot shortage elsewhere. That, again, just something to think about. And just to wrap up the satanic groups, former FBI chief Ted Gunderson warned about secret satanic groups, the danger posed by the New World Order, and a shadow government controlling the U.S. government. He said 4,000 human sacrifices, ritual human sacrifices, every year. And in a future episode, we will play this. We will play the Gunderson interview, or at least a portion of it. Now, this is one of those WTF things that make you go, more than likely, it's probably someone's creation. Obviously, it is someone's digital creation here, but I'm going to keep this in the record, and we will refer back to it. This is warnings of a time traveler, allegedly. And this is from the year 2671. Now, normally I wouldn't be doing something like this, but 2024 has been so absolutely freaking bizarre in the 18 days we've had, in my opinion. And it seems like each and every day there's something even more absurd or bizarre that is in the works. So we're going to track this. Supposedly, the time traveler came back to warn us about 2024 and about 4 alarming dates. So again, we're going to save this video. We're going to keep track of it just in case. But some of this stuff, well, I'll just, as we always do, I'll let you think for yourself. I'm just going to give you something to think about.
The warnings of a time traveler from the year 2671 about 2024 are downright haunting. He has warned us about 4 alarming dates. So save this video so you can keep track of these dates and see if they were right. Let's start with January 23rd. On January 23rd, 2024, humanity discovers an underground civilization called the Splitting World, living beneath the Earth's crust, but contact is made through a message declaring their intent to wage war against people on the surface. On March 7th, 2020.
Okay, keep in mind a couple of things. We're gonna go to them right after this. On January 1st in Miami, allegedly there were alien or interdimensional beings, is how we're going to refer to them, because we don't know if they were from another planet. We don't. It would seem much more feasible. Possibly they would be from another dimension, with the stories of portals coming out as well. But needless to say, let's just imagine for a moment: could what have happened? What is allegedly have happened in Miami actually happened? And the reason they came was to send a message to warn us that that they're going to declare war on us. And as far as is there something, is there a civilization within Earth? Admiral Byrd, who flew across the South Pole, allegedly in a book that was written describing his experiences, flew into the Earth for a brief period of time and did indeed see some strange things, some of which have inspired science fiction movies that, maybe maybe the science fictions of the movies of the 50s, the voyages to the center of the earth and things like that. Maybe they weren't science fiction. Anyway, that's what's supposed to happen January 23rd, which is coming up. March 7th is the next date.
24. An Earth-sized planet is discovered in our solar system that is found to be a mirror version of our world, with opposite gravity, purple waters, and red plants, yet still habitable, making it a bizarre yet intriguing mirror twin to our own Earth. On April 15th, SpaceX successfully developed a method for spaceships to reach light speed only to unexpectedly encounter hostile alien life forms who learn of the breakthrough and want to...
Okay, this one's a little bit, they actually use the term SpaceX, so again, Elon Musk involvement, and chances are all of this is just to see how far people's imagination may go. But again, normally I wouldn't be including this, but it's 2024, so if any of these things happen, if these things do happen, I think if these things do happen, indeed, our Earth is going to our existence is going to change dramatically on many levels, including emotionally and mentally, and for many spiritually. So let's see the final prediction.
Light engine technology for themselves, posing potential risks. Finally, on June 29th, 197, mysterious statues suddenly materialized in every country around the world, which are then discovered to have been covertly installed by unknown aliens to both observe and frighten humanity, as some kind of social experiment or prelude to an invasion, after their leader, Mitch, succeeded in his malign plans against Earth.
I've got to think the leader, Mitch, I've got to think that's some kind of AI, obviously the audio, I believe, is AI, and the leader's name is something other than Mitch, but who knows? So, okay. Again, this is just something to think about. I'm going to keep it here in the bookmarks in our history, and we will refer back. The first date's coming up here in just a few days, so we will see if indeed that happens. All right. I mentioned the aliens in the Miami Mall, and I want to take this full screen. This is this is the area right here. Now I've watched a whole lot of footage from all of this. Some of it is I've discounted. But there are some red flags. There are some things that do not make sense, and we'll touch on this tomorrow night with Chris when Chris is on with us, because one of the things I'm going to bring up right now is that there were probably it looked like every police car from all of South Florida was at the Miami Mall, and normally. Even a shooting, an active shooter won't bring as many police as showed up in this situation. Also, there was talk of firecrackers and fireworks and a big violent teen fight, and yet no ambulances and no fire trucks showed up. Only police cars. So. Was this a messenger that just happened to get caught? Again, I don't think he was at the mall to go to Spencer's to buy a whoopee cushion fart machine. These two guys don't think they don't think that the police story is true either. Hold on.
Be honest, me and my brother were there in Miami, and it's so crazy that you guys don't believe in that, but we saw 12 fucking goddamn foot fucking aliens, no fucking lie.
Apologies
And
for
what
the
happened
language.
When my brother tried to record, everything turned off.
A loud explosion. That's what
There was a lot of
everybody
explosion.
Everybody run. All you see was a bunch of little 14-year-old, like 15-year-old
fuck
kids
outta here, bro.
fucking running, bro. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, and then immediately,
Go.
Now, supposedly the explosion was some kind of, again, I've watched a lot of these videos. The explosion allegedly was like an old DVD player. You remember the portable DVD players where the screen pulled up? It looked like a device like that. This is the video that I've seen, and again, it's too blurry. I'm not going to put it on unless there's cleaner versions that come out. But it was they plugged it in, and it looked like a portal formed out of this, whatever this machine was, and that is what led to the flickering of the lights. That's the other thing. The power went out in buildings across the street of the Miami Mall when this was all happening. All the cameras went out. If you watch Skinwalker Ranch, if you watch Blind Frog Ranch, if you watch Tales of the Unknown, there are all kinds of shows where when there's an encounter, many times there are electronic failures. Hunting Bigfoot, all of these things. Now this is we're going to just go for a couple of seconds here. This is one of the best photos that came out, and the guy that took this was running backwards, running away from whatever this was. It's been said that it was translucent almost, and that at times it would come in and out like it was glitching, and I'm not sure what to make of all of that. I'm just putting out I'm not telling you what it is or what it isn't. I'm just telling you the information I've learned. Now, speaking of which, we're going to jump over here to, I had this all queued up too. Stop. Okay, sorry about that. I had this all queued up. And we'll get here in just a second. Right here's where we need to be. All right. This is a fairly well-established YouTuber, Jazzco, and his friend, who have come to Miami, as it says, come to Miami to get answers. And this is about it's a 40-minute long video. We're not going to play the whole video. I recommend you go and watch it if you have interest in what is going on. If you are at all interested in what's going on, that interest will be piqued by watching this video. But we are going to play just a couple of seconds or a minute or two of it here, because again, we don't have a lot of answers, and there are a whole lot of questions. Now, I'm going to just play. These two also do they do paranormal investigations, so both of them are spiritual, and they have some paranormal investigating tools. If you watch any of those kind of shows, you'll recognize some of the equipment they're using. Let me get this up to full screen and we'll roll.
We're sitting out here in front of where the alien sighting occurred. We have a REM pod out right there. We have a couple of spirit boxes running, hopefully to see if we can get some responses, because at the end of the day, aliens, they're extraterrestrial.
Spirit boxes are devices that translate energy into words, and supposedly can communication can generate interdimensionally.
They're paranormal. They could use their energy just like spirits could, right?
Oh yeah.
So hopefully, if there's anything out there that likes to communicate with us, can come forward and do so. Maybe prepare us for what's about to come, because just I feel like things are just happening by the day. There's something new is coming out. You just held some new meeting that.
There was a new congressional meeting that happened literally just a couple of days ago, and it's kind of weird that it happened just a couple days after what happened here in Miami.
It was scheduled ahead of time, by the way.
It's like they're trying to bear us more and more.
Open your mind.
I literally just said, open your mind.
All right.
Okay, as far as preparing us more and more, there's a theory out that there are two kinds of disclosure, meaning disclosure that we are not alone, and take that for whatever definition you wish. But the two types of disclosure are a controlled disclosure, which means that little bits of information will come out at a time, because humanity is not anywhere near stable enough to understand everything that could come out. And if everything came out, that would be what would be considered catastrophic disclosure, because humanity could not deal with the totality of it, whatever it happens to be.
You know, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Total Recall. It's like a little baby like coming out of the guy's chest. He's like, open your mind.
After walking throughout the entire place, I genuinely had like a sense that I was just very uncomfortable. It was a very, very weird feeling, but
Be careful.
Be careful.
open your mind, be careful. Okay, just so we could get some more responses in a quicker sense, I'm gonna fire up Necrophonic as well, so
Yeah,
I'm
go
gonna start
for it.
this. What should we be careful for? Are you trying to warn us of something that's about to happen? I just wonder why, because one thing I noticed, Omar, this isn't the entrance of the mall right here, but in this particular area, there was numerous police cars parked like right on these pavers. And this is where the sighting of the alien happened. Is that not weird? Why would this car right here? What the fuck was that?
I don't know. I heard something.
You heard that?
Yeah.
It just said growl.
Oh, wow. Oh, there's a man going through the traffic.
That's
That's not what we heard, though.
Can you tell us what we should be careful of?
Aliens are here.
Aliens are here?
No. Oh,
Okay.
I thought that.
Is there anything else that you want to...
Portal here.
Okay.
You take 20,000 children and put it over to sea without anybody seeing.
Here. Portal here. Is that what it said?
Portal here.
Where's
Oh.
the portal? Dude, I've never heard that say that.
I've heard it say things like portal, you know, there is a portal in the room or something like that, but
Wow. You know that there is a town that's very close to here. You know what the name of it is? El Portal.
really?
Yeah, the portal. And supposedly it's a really old town here in Miami.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Can you tell us a little bit about the statements that were made from police?
Lies spread.
Lies spread.
No freaking way.
Oh my God.
Lies spread?
Okay. I'm not saying, this said it, not me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna turn that off.
Yeah.
Okay, so tonight there's a shapeshifter, aliens are here, lies
Portal.
that just said leave too. Why do you want us to leave? Or did you leave?
No.
Are you still here in Miami?
Gone.
Dude, I don't know what it is. I have such like an uncomfortable feeling right now. Let me know what you guys think about some of the responses we've gotten so far.
I think they're interesting, for sure.
Pretty pinpoint.
Okay, again, this is Omar and Jazzco. Actually, the machine calls him by name. So take of these what you will. We don't tell you what to think or how to think. We just give you things to think about. And I've got a few more of them. We've covered the interdimensional. Now let's cover the international elite.
We are the first species on the face of this earth to be aware of evolution, to be aware that we are affecting our own evolution by everything that we do. The babies we eat, the food we eat, the car.
Yeah, let's run this little bit of this back here.
By everything that we do, the babies we eat, the food.
The babies we eat. At one point, I naively thought that everybody would, I naively thought that everybody in the world would think protecting babies, protecting children, making sure that the childhood innocence was not lost before it was grown out of. And it's not the case. I'm really not sure. This is, please explain why a bunch of Jews are hanging and shooting a child-sized doll. And this is, again, if you're watching and you can explain this, by all means, email me and we'll get you on the show. The same thing for anything you see here. If you happen to be watching, you think you can explain it, get a hold of me. In the meantime, let's watch this. Again, we're not going to play the music. Guy comes out of prayer, runs the Torah. The scrolls are here behind the curtains. He runs over here. This guy pulls a gun. A doll the size of a child is hung. This person shoots the doll before it was hanged, and then this guy beats on it before they dance. Totally unfamiliar with any of this. It just gives an odd optic. We're going to talk about this coming up in future episodes as well. Disease X, World Economic Forum, which is meeting right now in Davos, France. Disease X will be 20 times more deadly than COVID. And by that, we know that there is a 100%, or we've been told there's a 100% death rate in mice in what they call humanized mice, mice that have had human DNA added to them to make them to give us an idea, how they might respond, and there's already a vaccine facility for disease X, and supposedly they don't know what disease X is yet, but amazing predictive abilities if they can already put a vaccine out for something that they don't know exists. One of those things that personally makes me go, this comes from Canada. Canadian police warn residents not to post videos of thugs stealing packages. Quote, you cannot post the images such as the one we just saw right there. We have a presumption of innocence, and posting that could be a violation of someone's private life. So not only are they going to come and steal the packages from your porch, if someone were to do that and you posted a video of it, you would probably get in much more trouble than they would. It's 2024. Man high up in Google shares internal email saying February of 2024, Google will update the inappropriate content policy for unforeseen sensitive events. If you're a YouTube creator, you know what the YouTube community standards, what the policy is, and it is basically unwritten policy that if they think it's inappropriate, they're going to deem it inappropriate, and we try very hard to stay on the published side of such. Anyway, this is what policy they're going to update the inappropriate. Here, let me highlight. Update the inappropriate content policy for unforeseen sensitive events, including civil emergencies, natural disasters, public health emergencies, terrorism and related activities, conflict, or mass acts of violence. Now, I'm not criticizing Google for doing this at all. Google obviously owns YouTube, so this is where these content policies are going to be put into place. Again, policy for unseen sensitive events, including civil emergencies, natural disasters, public health emergencies, terrorism-related activities, conflict, or mass acts of violence. My question is, why now? Why February of 2024? We've had civil emergencies, we've had natural disasters, we've had public health emergencies, we've had terrorism. All of these things have impacted our country and in recent history. So why now? The speculation something is coming just in time for the 2024 presidential election. That is the speculation of the poster, not necessarily of this channel. However, I would not be surprised. All right, we're going to take just a small break of just a little bit of lightheartedness here, or not really lightheartedness, because this is an example of somebody that is an absolute master of what they do, and what they do is shoot pool. So we're going to take 40 seconds and watch this and give me a chance to grab a quick drink to finish up for tonight. Okay, I gotta stop it because I can't. We can't have music. So here we go. Apologies if you hear me. Okay. You're not going to get the full effect if you're watching this on a cell phone. If you're watching it on a big screen, it's pretty amazing. So that's our little break for from the absolute madness that 2024 has been, and we'll continue on here and finish up. A lot of talk about the Houthi rebels in Yemen, and that they're just going to be easily defeated, and they're a bunch of goat farmers. We're hearing all this kind of stuff. Well, what actually is happening, at least in one instance, is they're building drones out of sticks. And again, let me make sure we got the volume down. And might give us a little different perception of who one of the current enemies of the United States is. Again, this is drone put together with just sticks and motors. But that is the ingenuity of those that are our opposition, or at least one of our oppositions. This is a preview of an upcoming story on BlackRock. We're going to kind of delve into what BlackRock is. And speaking of previews, we've got Chris coming on tomorrow night at 9 p.m. You can join us if you'd like, possibly. Just email me at americandufus@gmail.com. I think it's scrolling down at the bottom. I'll get over to the chat here before we end and see if anybody has any questions for tonight. We'll be doing that on Friday as well. So if you don't want to come on, but you have a question you'd like to ask Chris, myself, or the general public, you can email me that as well. All right. Vivek Ramaswamy dropped out of the race. We were on a forced vacation and couldn't cover the Iowa caucuses. We'll talk about those tomorrow night. We'll talk about the upcoming New Hampshire primary and other upcoming things politically tomorrow night. But Vivek Ramaswamy dropped out. There's a lot of speculation he could be Trump's vice president now. I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think he has enough political clout to do that, but I could be wrong. Just in case he does, there are a lot of people that don't know who he is, and in 4 minutes and 44 seconds, we're not going to play the whole thing, but we'll get a brief idea of who Vivek Ramaswamy is.
Vivek Ramaswamy. Should you trust him? Some of you won't like this, but hear me out. He seems to be everywhere. Clips of him giving it to the man.
Again, this is before he dropped out.
And calling out the establishment all over social media. Skyrockets from unknown to top of the Republican polls. And I understand why.
I don't know about that.
He says what we all want to hear. End the war, secure the border, drain the swamp, unity, freedom, truth. Which outlets are considered untrustworthy propaganda media? MSNBC, Business Insider, AP, Forbes, The New York Times, The New Yorker, Huffington Post, Axios, Politico, just to name a few.
Again, these words are, these sentiments are from this particular creator, and not necessarily representative of our advertisers potentially, or of myself or of the viewers. But let's listen to everything he's got to say, because even though I've been kind of nitpicking here, the information coming up is worthy.
Mouthpiece of the establishment. Then why are they all so supportive of Vivek? Doesn't make sense. How is he considered anti-establishment when he's supported by the establishment? If you or I were to say some of the anti-woke things he says, we would be shadow banned. But somehow, he's trending on every single major social media platform. Prior to politics, he was a hedge fund manager. His claim to fame was a pharmaceutical startup company called Roivant. In the 9 years it's been in business, it has never been profitable or delivered a working product. Although Roivant continues to fail their clinical trials, they were able to find investors and raise money, making Vivek an extremely wealthy entrepreneur. Good at convincing people to invest, poor at delivering product and execution. Not a good sign. So what about the money? The media highlights that Vivek has invested over $10 million of an honorable fee. Vivek announced his run for presidency in February 2023. How long do you think it takes to make that decision and execute a plan? 6, 8 months? July 2022, the value of Roivant stock is just over $3 per share. On February 21st, 2023, Vivek announces his run for presidency, and on February 22, he sells 4 million shares for approximately $32 million at nearly $8 per share. Well over $15 million in profit in 6 months prior to him announcing presidency. Good for him, right? Make that money. Company is losing over $1 billion per year, but he got paid. Smart guy.
That's who Vivek Ramaswamy is, at least in part. Again, just something to think about. I touched on this earlier. Disease X, new lab created disease out of China, has 100% fatality rate in humanized mice by infecting their nervous systems. This I want to play in its entirety, and it's only like a minute long, because this we're getting towards the end here, and we started with a reference to what happened last night, what we showed last night, which was a video. We highlighted basically an extended video from 2009, and then we went to 1965, and we played Paul Harvey and a letter to the world as what he envisioned the devil would do. Well, now we're going to go back to a voice from 1871. This was right after the Civil War. And these are the words of General Pike, who was a Civil War general and fought for the Confederacy, Albert Pike. If you've seen the National Treasure movies, in the second National Treasure movie, the Albert Pike letter from the Queen of England was one of the subplots in that. Well, that was based on fiction, allegedly. Who knows? Again, we're in 2024. Things are weird. But we're going to go back to 1871. And the reason why, Albert Pike predicted there would be 3 world wars.
Predicted 3 world wars. The First World War, he said, must be brought about, and I'm quoting from Albert Pike. The First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati to overthrow the power of the czars in Russia and of making that country a fortress of atheistic communism.
Okay, this again is 1871 when he was writing this. This is from his writings from 1871. And he said the First World War must be fought so that the United Soviet Socialist Republic, the USSR, formerly Russia, could be formed and become a communist atheist bloc, which indeed is what happened. And he said it was the Illuminati that we're making it happen. A term that we are hearing quite often now, again, even used in 1871 by Albert Pike.
The divergences caused by the agents of the Illuminati between the British and German empires will be used to foment this war. He says, quote, the Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists.
Again, he was talking about this in 1871. The fascists, which of course came to fruition in Nazi Germany, and also the fascism of Benito Mussolini, where the term kind of originated.
This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed, and that the political Zionism will be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel in Palestine.
Again, I'm going to run this back so we can listen to just this small section one more time.
It will be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel in Palestine. He's now thinking about this Third World War.
Okay, so the Second World War was fought primarily to destroy fascism, and obviously it hasn't worked as that term has reared its head again. And also, the Second World War had to be fought so that a nation of Israel could be formed. Again, Albert Pike's talking in 1871, and there has never been a nation of Israel prior to 1948. So I think maybe we should listen to what he says now about the potential Third World War.
And it says that it will be caused by the differences between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the State of Israel, mutually destroy each other.
What's going on in the Middle East, as it is referred to, even though it's actually either Africa or Asia, but nonetheless, what's going on there right now? Threat after threat after threat of the destruction of Israel and the destruction of all Islamic nations.
That's what it says. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economic exhaustion.
So, while the major action will be the annihilation of both Israel and most of the Muslim nations, the rest of the world will also be fighting to the point of mental, physical, and financial exhaustion. It will be the war that will destroy the world and probably usher in globalism. He talked about the Illuminati being responsible for wars, and about the desire we've heard leaked about the desire of an 87% population decrease. Are these things just conspiracy theories? If so, they are awfully coincidental the way things are lining up. Just something to think about. Jesse Zabartar is a survivor of Illuminati, Rothschild, human hunting parties. Let's give this a brief listen. I've already ran over the time. I was trying to keep it short. I'm not going to be able to do that. So let's just take some time and listen to a few seconds anyway of this.
So at the hunting parties, they would they'd have all these expendable children outside in the woods, and usually they have holding grounds, like a tunnel system or something underground, where they hold the kids in cages until the time of the hunt. And the hunt usually happens later, once it's dark outside. And so what they'll do is they kind of they'll kind of make a parameter, which is pretty large, of these woods, and they'll station the different elite people around the perimeter. And then when they give the go, they release the kids, and the kids are told just to run, to hide. And that's when the elite will go through the woods and start hunting for them. When they catch them, a lot of times they will first sexually abuse them, and then they'll kill them.
So this is all allegedly, but again, are you like me? Have we been naive to what's actually going on in the world? World Health Organization is worried about disease X, and yet Congress created a bill called Disease X Act back in June of 2023. Disease X is the mystery contagion that the World Economic Forum is having a meeting about. We're going to hear from the World Health Organization probably that, there is no such thing as disease X. It's just something that, it's just a term we used for the possibility of a pandemic caused by a contagion such as what COVID was. That's what they'll tell us. A lot of people are concerned that the first one was manufactured and the next one is going to be worse. These are Johnny Jumpers is what we called them. The video says 1960s baby bouncers, and it seems like they, this was a relatively, it wasn't normal to leave them in the Johnny Jumper and leave them alone and go to the other rooms or something. You were monitoring them, but it got them some exercise. And again, this is one of the things that was used to wear kids out back in the day. So once again, just a little pause because got some stuff coming up. This video's in here for one reason, and this is simply because for some viewers, when I first saw this, I was like, wait a minute. So this is a doppelganger for potentially, or at least that's what I see. This is a doppelganger for someone that he's actually been on the show once briefly, and a lot of people know who I'm talking about, or maybe they don't. NBC News, network of public interest groups. Here's the actual report. From NBC News, this came in on the 14th. A network of public interest groups and lawmakers nervous about former President Trump's potential return to power is quietly devising plans to foil any effort on his part to pressure the United States military to carry out his political agenda. He's already said on day one he's going to be a dictator, and he is going to take out revenge on his opponents. A network of public interest groups and lawmakers. Now, if this was just Democrats, Alex Jones, I understand Alex Jones said that these are just Democrats doing this, and it's, blah, blah, blah. If it were just Democrats, NBC News would say that. Believe me, there are probably more Republicans that are concerned about him getting into power. Keep in mind the Democrats tend to be pretty narcissistic and privileged and over self-importance that they don't think they will ever be under threat. So I think the Republicans, the moderate Republicans, and those interest groups could perhaps be more along the lines of who's getting together. Not that I'm not saying any Democrat wouldn't do it. They would probably, if invited, be a part of it. Just so you know, this guy right back here, this is Charles Schwab. Trump talking about what a fantastic person he is. Not to be outdone, we will have a clip. We'll have a clip of Biden with Charles Schwab as well. Charles Schwab, the leader of the World Economic Fund, and probably the number 2 as far as in the pecking order. There's a guy from Rome, Italy, that is probably the number 1 leader of the elite, shall we say. All right, this next clip, this clip is a character known as Richie the Barber, who is in Los Angeles, based in Los Angeles, and is very recognizable, as you will see, and is fairly well known. We talked about the Illuminati. We've talked about the elite. We've talked about the interdimensional. And this is he's tattooed from the top of his head to the tip of his toes. For many people, they would see this and immediately go, well, this has got to be a Luciferian. This has got to be a Satan worship. And then if you look down here, you'll notice, in fact, he's wearing a depiction of Jesus, and not in a parody manner. Here's why he might have the faith he now has and may not have had before this event.
Wanted me to go to this party. It was an exclusive party. It was just in the middle of nowhere. I'm not going to say where it was at.
Just tell us, Richie.
I can't tell you, bro.
Was it in the desert?
No, it wasn't.
City?
It was in L.A. It was in L.A.
I knew it. I knew
it was in L.A. The grand finale was they had this woman, and they cut out a chunk of her buttocks.
Oh my god!
And they sauteed it, and they were eating her butt while she was like moaning. She was moaning, and she was like touching herself and masturbating to herself, and people were doing things to her.
She was touching her vagina.
Everything.
And she's bleeding on her ass.
Yeah, and then they sauteed it and they ate it.
Oh,
yeah, it was crazy, bro.
Can you answer one question? Was Kevin Spacey there?
I can't tell you who's there, bro.
Was The Rock there?
I can't tell you who's there, bro. I can't, but like famous people, bro.
Wow.
Like, and then they had a satanic pentagram on the floor. It was the most creepiest, scariest party that I've ever been to.
Okay, again, on the surface, I see this guy and I'm thinking, okay, this guy's probably, probably really out there. And that is, that's just on the surface. He is really out there. But when you get right down to it, he's obviously not naming names because he's concerned about who was part of what he explained. And all of this is allegedly. We do not know, we do not know for certain these things are happening, but more and more stories are coming out. This is another that I'm gonna bypass for tonight, but we're gonna touch on in the future. When those who want to be left alone get involved, you'll know it. Make no mistake. And this is about when the quiet men, when the men who don't, they don't go out looking for trouble. They don't, talk about how big and bad they are. Blah 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 blah. When they get involved, it changes things, and that's kind of a long one, so we'll bypass that one and touch on it in a future episode. Again, here's Klaus Schwab talking about giving up national sovereignty, giving up individual freedoms, and turning over rule to experts. The whole agenda is to make it so we have no choice on some of the biggest questions of our lives. We didn't get to vote on whether gas-powered cars will be banned. We didn't vote for vaccinated mandates. We didn't vote for lockdowns. We didn't vote for banning of meat. But all of this is happening because at these meetings, like the World Economic Forum and the United Nations, they meet and they work with government-cooperated collusion to bypass democracy and impose stuff through this corporate government fascism, allegedly. That's what. That's the opinion of the poster regarding what's happening right this very moment at the World Economic Forum in Davos, France. If you're still with me, and I hope you are, this is something that I just when I first saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, I know who this is, and I want to see if you agree. Now, for those that say this is AI or okay, we're gonna go. The sound that is playing is Elvis Presley singing, so I cannot play that because it will get blocked. Oh, as you could hear, it's wise men say only fools. I can't help falling in love with you, but it's a 15-second video. You'll see a nod, eyes blink. If he were still alive, we would be the same age right now. So I'm saying this is supposed to lead us to believe that Michael Jackson might have faked his own death in order to avoid getting killed, and agreed to stay quiet. And he's letting the world know what might have happened. Who knows? That's alleged, of course. This is Archbishop Vigano. Now, many are saying that the Vatican, that the Catholic Church are Satan worshipers, and at the same time we have videos like this from this Archbishop who's saying the WEF is threatening the heads of government of the 20 most industrialized nations in the world to carry out the Great Reset, a global coup d'etat against which it is essential that people rise up. Okay, I'm going to give you just a quick, here is basically what he's talking about. There will be this Great Reset. There will be a blackout. The grid will go down. The internet will go down. It will be down for a period of time, not a great extended period of time, but time enough where when it comes back, everything will have already changed. There will be a global currency that will be digital. There will be no actual money of any kind, and everything will be doled out by a central world government. You will have X amount of digital coin. You can use X amount of your digital coin to buy food. You can buy certain kinds of food. You can use X amount to do this, to do that. And that people will accept that instead of rising up and demand that we'd be able to have our own currencies and we'd be able to control what we want to do with that particular currency. That is what the Archbishop is warning against, all right? This is kudos to Miss America. Miss America is Lieutenant Marsh, first time an active duty member of the Armed Forces has been named Miss America. And she graduated from U.S. Air Force Academy. She earned a pilot slot, and as you can see, she's taking off in a actually, you can tell it's an armed jet, by the way. So we're going to talk about this in an upcoming episode. very, very soon, and we we will touch on this tomorrow night when Chris joins us, and you can possibly join us if you so desire. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Berlin, Germany. In Berlin, Germany, there has been an ongoing protest of farmers and I'm sorry, it's not Berlin, it's in Leipzig. They're chanting all together against fascism, and again, the globalist Klaus Schwab in Davos, France. And I'll give you just a brief listen here. So they're serious. And there are a lot, and it's not just in Germany. Again, founder of the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, brags about penetrating the governments of the world. What we're very proud of, we penetrated the cabinets. More than half of Canadian cabinet members are actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum. So, these people are protesting primarily the high diesel prices and the fact that the subsidies to farmers has been taken away. What's that going to do? Well, it's going to take away the food. And again, it's not just in Germany. Trump, we're gonna bypass a couple of things about Trump here, and as I said, it's not just in Germany. People are taking to the streets all around Europe, and not only taking to the streets. I showed this last night. We'll touch on it again tomorrow night. Normally people kiss the Pope's ring. Why is the Pope kissing the Rothschilds and Henry Kissinger's ring? This is a HARP ELF wave facility, electromagnetic wave, penetrate everything on Earth. And to give you scale, this is a man right here, and at the bottom is a man right there. So there are things that we are totally not aware of. I don't know if anybody's told you this yet, but hold on a second, I don't want that. All right, here we go. I don't know if anybody's told you this yet, but Shell Global, one of the largest oil gas companies in the world, announced on January 16th they will be halting any further shipping through the Red Sea due to the increased risk of escalation with the Houthi terrorist group in Yemen. So oil and gas prices will be going up. You might have seen prices at the pump jump from under $3 to upwards of $3.50. Okay, we honestly, we as the American people, we need to figure out some sort of action to let those in power know that the two presidential candidates are unacceptable. If you do indeed feel that way, I think an awful lot of us do. Joe Biden gets off the helicopter and has absolutely no clue where he's at. The Marines standing there saluting him. He asks for help. Marines like, your car's right here at the end of the walkway. Your car is right there. The car was 10 feet away from him. Friends, we are in perilous times. We really are as a country. And these are the two choices that are going to be offered up to us. Those of us with common sense, I think, are ready to reject both of these choices. And we need to figure out some way of disrupting things peaceably, and making it known that, hey, we're serious about leadership in America, and it's not from someone who's not sure where they're at. Now they're gonna give this guy the greatest dementia drugs, the greatest Alzheimer drugs in the world, and at times Biden looks sharp, and they want us to focus on those times without and to totally ignore the fact that the guy is, I want to read what the person wrote that posted this. Again, I've already gone long over, so I thank you for still being here if you are. I showed this video clip to my wife saying he just stepped off of the helicopter. He doesn't know where he is or remember his car is 15 feet away. And she replied, it's not his fault. He has dementia. And then the guy said, but he's the president of the United States. And she said, it's not his fault. He has frontotemporal temporal dementia. In 6 months, he may not recognize his wife. And the man said, again, but he's president of the United States. And she said, it's not his fault. By next year, he'll be brushing his teeth with his razor. It's his wife's fault. It's his aide's fault. It's the Democratic Party's fault. They're making fools of America. Why? Why? Why, when it's obvious to so many, is it not even addressed? Why? Why is a caucus to determine the President of the United States conducted with brown paper bags that say ballot handwritten on it? Again, only 56,280 people have voted in a primary. Nobody has voted in a general election yet. And elections seem to be chiseled in stone. Who's going to be running against who? Why? Why all the hype? This is Pauly Shore. I don't know if you know him or not. His credibility is put to question by the fact that he keeps horning off a Crown Royal bottle throughout the interview. But Pauly Shore drops names. I'm not going to play this because some of the stuff is incredibly damning. And if you'd like to see it, you can find it. Isaac's Army has it. All you probably have to do is Google Pauly Shore, and the interview will pop up. What's going on at Denver International Airport? Let's run this from the start, and let's expand this. It's only like 20 seconds long, I believe. Without the music, thank you. Number of strange statues in the airport, including this one, appears to be a gargoyle coming out of a suitcase. Are they hiding in plain sight? Are they making it so obvious that that they're putting it right in front of our face so that we don't see it? That has been suggested. Thanks for being patient. The lizard people keep stealing our tools is one of the signs. Another one of the signs, apologies for the noise. It takes really big drills to get to the underworld. And finally, forgive the mess. Building secret underground tunnels can get quite untidy. And there's speculation because Denver had recently put in a new airport, or Denver had a serviceable airport. Indianapolis had a serviceable airport. Suddenly, both of them get massive expansions in airports. And there's theories that there was a reason for all of that because of what is actually underneath both of those airports. Of course, an airport, a place where the elite could fly into very easily. Again, just, one of those something to think about kind of things. I'm going to say this one again, Randy Taylor to Hagman. This is something I want to touch on, and we'll push this and this to another night. Speaker at the World Economic Forum claims that farming and fishing is ecocide. She's demanding that it be recognized as a serious crime. And we're not going to play all of it, but I'll play just a little bit of it here, actually. I think it's about right. I think right about here.
Genocide that involves a specific intent.
Okay, what she's saying is there's not enough power behind what goes, behind committing something that messes up the ecology, the ecosystem. So they want a term ecocide, and they want it to be a serious crime. And what is she talking about when she says ecocide?
With ecocide, what we see is actually what people are trying to do, what businesses are trying to do is make money, is farm, is fish.
Farm and fish. Farming and fishing, bad. And in some cases, fishing is bad because, they're exploiting, potentially species that could go extinct. So, sustainable. But at the same time, is this really about eliminating the food supply to depopulate the world? Cloning babies. First officially human cloning was in 2023. Group claimed responsibility. The cloning human was the Raelians. Their symbol, the swastika in the middle of the Star of David, was the last tweet Kanye West made before getting banned. Supposedly, Louis Farrakhan got his title honorable from the Raelians. Other members, Michael Jackson, Elton Musk, Madonna, Sinead O'Connor, Hugh Hefner, Bill Gates, Eminem, Sean Penn, and many more, allegedly. So, again, a human cloning company has been around for quite some time, and I remember hearing about this, but it's just coming back into focus. Also, this is Biden with his friend Klaus Schwab. Again, I don't think we're going to vote our way out of this. I think both of the candidates are probably up to their ears with ties to the elite for their own survival. I don't know. We'll find out. All right. This is, I think this is it. Yes, here we go. This is what I wanted to get up to. I mentioned what's going on in various parts of the various parts of Europe. In France, let me just pull this up. In France, they're blocking the highways with the farmers are blocking the highways with major giant bales of hay, as you can see. And I'm going to end with two things here from Trump.
From your...
Listen to what he says.
But we're also going to place strong protections to stop banks and regulators from trying to debank you from your,
Okay, he just about gave away the plan there to debank you. They're going to take away all of your money, all of your wealth, and you are going to be given. You're going to be given a global currency, a digital dollar, if you will, and you will own nothing and like it. That is a direct quote from the World Economic Forum. All right, so if Trump is indeed a puppet, as probably just about everyone in Washington D.C. is, they know what's coming, and they know everything they're doing is basically political theater, and it's just to keep us distracted so we do not ever see who the actual evildoers are.
Your political beliefs, what they do. They want to debank you, and we're going to debank. Think of this. They want to take away your rights. They want to take away your country. The things they're doing, all electric cars, give me a break. If you want an electric car, good, but they don't go far. They're very expensive. They're going to be made.
Okay, he's a rambling lunatic, but he just, and that's what makes him dangerous. He just, if that is indeed the plan, he just about gave it away, which would have been the end of him. Now, to me, this is just absolutely unfreaking believable. But this is his tweet from last night. He says, the great Cassius Clay used to spar with me. Okay, he's saying he and Muhammad Ali, he calls him Cassius Clay, his white name, instead of the chosen name that Muhammad Ali wanted to be called by. That should tell you a little something. Says they used to spar. He said, not many people know this because I don't like to boast. Donald Trump doesn't like to boast. That's one thing everybody can agree on. Oh, jeez. All right. He said that Ali could never hit him. He said, have you ever seen bruises on my face? No bruises. He used to say, sir, you are a great dancer. Probably the best there has ever been. Also, thank you, sir, for sparring with a black man. He had tears in his eyes that day. Now, the most diehard of Trump supporters will gush over that and use it to show that he's not racist, despite him calling the man Cassius Clay when that was Clay himself. Muhammad Ali considered Cassius Clay as a white name. Anyway, we're going to end it on that. Donald Trump sparring with Muhammad Ali, and Ali was never able to hit Trump because he was just too good of a dancer. All right. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. Went longer, and it doesn't look like we got a lot going on in chat, so I'll just close things out here again by saying thank you very much for being here. Thank you for watching. Most of you are watching at your convenience. I greatly appreciate you taking the time to do so. I'll remind you we'll be back on here tomorrow night. Chris will be with us at 9 o'clock, and hopefully a couple of you from the audience will be up with us as well, because we like to get the opinions of people that aren't involved in all of this as heavily as we are. So again, if you got some questions you'd like to come on, americandufus@gmail.com is the way to get a hold of me, or leave me a comment below if you are not watching live and you're watching at your convenience. Until tomorrow night, well, actually, yes, because we're getting away right before midnight. Until tomorrow night, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be back on. Chris will be with us. Hopefully you will be too. Until then, it is a dark world. Do try to be a light. The world gets darker, seems like every single day, and needs more of us to shine bright. Just something to think about. Love you all like chocolate chip cookies. See you tomorrow night. Hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the share. Thanks for being here.